These 6 bottles are for the bold bourbon drinker. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So as we explore the world of whiskey, one of the things that we do is we go down different avenues to see what's out there and explore different kinds of offerings. But if you really think about the big picture, there's sort of a divide, almost 2 halves of the world. One is more easy sipping, delicate, straightforward, not gonna kind of blow you back sippers, which have their place. And then there's bold, spicier, more aggressive, bigger flavors from certain bottles that just kind of knock your socks off or hit you over the mouth with their flavors. Today we're talking about that category. I've put together a list of 6 bottles that I think really fit when you're looking for that bolder, bigger pour with more flavor that will knock your socks off. So if that's what you're looking for in terms of adding something to your collection, this is the right video for you. Okay, so the first bottle on my list is one of the newer ones on the list, but has impressed me a lot since it came out, and that is Green River Full Proof. So 117.3 proof, right around 45 to 50 bucks. And for that price, man, does it pack so much flavor. You're gonna get quintessential flavors like brown sugar, caramel, vanilla, good amount of oak, honey presence here as well, maybe a green apple or apple presence for fruitiness, but it just comes in waves over your palate. And for something that's that affordable, it's really hard to beat for the bold kind of profile that it presents. Okay, so the next bottle on my list is one that gives you the opportunity to go back to it and get more unique pours, and that's because it's a single barrel. That is Knob Creek single barrels. So you're gonna get 120 proof out of these, usually in the 8 to 10-year-old range in terms of aging process here. They're almost always bold sippers. You're gonna get big peanut, you're gonna get peanut butter, you're gonna get vanilla, you're gonna get oak. You're gonna get that classic kind of Knob Creek profile, but with each single barrel, it's gonna vary and you're gonna get full force flavor. So you might get some fruitiness on some of the more special ones that are really rounded and awesome, or you'll just get full force brown sugar and spice, but they're gonna be bold. So if you're looking for a bold pour, one that gives you lots of different variety, I'd go toward a Knob Creek single barrel for around 60 bucks, which is not bad at all. All right, so we'll stick with the single barrel option for bottle number 3, hop over to a different distillery that's known for some excellent flavors, and that is Russell's Reserve Single Barrel. So you get one of these, trust me, it's gonna be bold with its brown sugar, vanilla, and cherry. Pretty much guarantee you that's gonna be on a sip of a Russell's Reserve Single Barrel. These are full force. Proof point here, I believe, is 110, so not quite as high as the others, but still so full of flavor and just kind of envelops your palate in waves of that vanilla, cherry, oak. And you can, of course, get different store picks of this to give you lots more variety. But again, if you're looking for a bold pour with lots to kind of knock your socks off and just overwhelm your palate, I think a Russell's Reserve turns the flavor dials up to a 9 or 10 pretty much every single time. All right, so this next one isn't a single barrel, but it is a batched product. You know it, you probably love it just as much as I do, and that is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I mean, it is kind of the quintessential bold bourbon drinker's favorite brand, right? You gotta get yourself some Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. This is batch B524, which means it's 130.6 proof, 11 years, 2 months old. I'm telling you, this bourbon in particular, this B524, will knock you back. So much spice, but also so much sweetness and rich oak and tobacco. It really goes aged, even though it's not, one of the older products we've seen from the line. Just full force whiskey. And for every batch, even if it's not the best batch that's ever been released, for 75 bucks these days, it's still some of the boldest, most flavor forward profiles that you don't have to really think about. You're just going to get overwhelmed with flavor. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is still going to offer you that in spades. Okay, so the 5th bottle on this list is actually what I have poured up tonight and what I'm sipping on. And just smelling it, you can tell it's going to be aggressive, but pack a punch, that's for sure. Cheers, everybody. Wow, yeah, that's really good and really bold and powerful. Just before I reveal what that is while we're paused here and enjoying our sips, would love to say, if you're enjoying all the content coming out of the channel and you haven't subscribed already to the Bourbon Hutch, would love to have you aboard for the rest of 2024 and beyond. While you're at it, hit the like button on this video. That's what gets it out to the most people. And then again, comment down below. What are some of the more bold, beautiful whiskeys that you've experienced or that you tend to sip on? What do you turn toward when you're looking for one of those punchier, bolder pours? Okay, so what is this very, very good whiskey, very powerful whiskey? It is Booker's. So we've got Charlie's batch here, the first release of 2023, so last year. But man, this stuff has really dark cherry, strong peanut, not quite peanut shell, but it's just this like peanut butteriness that's very good, strong vanilla, and tons of brown sugar. It's got good spiciness, of course. Booker's is kind of known for this profile, right? This aggressive, bold, spicy, peanutty, brown sugary Jim Beam experience. So maybe this rivals the Elijah Craig in terms of my mind, like going toward what's the boldest line when you're going for a bold pour, you want to have one on hand. What should you grab? Booker's really fills that slot and fits the bill really, really well. It is more expensive, so you're looking at something that's in the $90 to $100 range, but keep an eye out each year. They do 4 releases, 4 batches. Keep an eye out on the ones that tend to get the best reviews. I think those are ultimately worth the price. So I've sort of limited myself to really hunting for those more special batches of the year, and I'm really enjoying them. I feel like the investment is worth it because of how bold the flavors are. Okay, so typically I try to keep these lists to 5 or 3, but 6. Why 6? Well, I thought of an interesting bottle that I don't really talk about very often, but is definitely bold. Used to get more hype, but has become more available, so people talk about it less. And that is Wagon Uncut, Unfiltered. So when this first started coming out, people were just raving about it. And now that it's a little bit more available and there's a lot more batches that have come out, people haven't talked about it as much. But it's still very, very bold and very, very interesting. High rye in the mash bill, so you're getting really interesting flavors. On this one in particular, I get kiwi, I get watermelon, I get these really interesting bright fruits that are just very flavorful, very juicy, but then also a brown sugar core to the thing that gives it the weight of a nice bold bourbon. So these are my 6, everybody. These are my 6 bold sippers. If you're looking for something more aggressive, more powerful, more knock your socks off to add to your collection, you cannot go wrong with any of these. They also tend to give you a good amount of variety, especially with the single barrels and the different batches of Booker's and Elijah Craig. You're gonna have lots of bold whiskey at your fingertips if you add some subset of these to your collection. Again, would love to hear in the comments below, what do you think of the list and what bold sippers have you been turning to lately? All right, everybody, I think that's going to do it. Till I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey. Hopefully it's bold and beautiful, and cheers.